You're watching
Good Enough Garage.
So I managed to find the Massey coupe. It's up here. We're actually in the very front of the show. We're gonna walk around and go check out the Ridler cars. I'm gonna kind of give a commentary on them a little bit. We're gonna kind of nitpick them a little bit, but it's all in good fun because that's what they're there for. They're on display. They're going for this coveted award. So we're gonna try to nitpick them and see which one is going to win. I have a rough idea which one's going to win, but we're going to kind of go over all of them with a fine-tooth comb, see what I like about them, see what I don't like about them, try to make a pick and see which one will win. They're actually over there, so we're going to go over there and check them out right now. Let's kind of go for a walk. Oh, hey, look. He put my name on the sign. That's pretty cool. Car still looks pretty good. Maybe we'll get to drive this thing this summer. Alright guys, so for the first car in our grade 8 lineup, we got this Chrysler 1000X is what they're calling it. From Phoenix, Arizona. It's a 59 Chrysler 300. Kind of done in a more modern feel. They pretty much got rid of all the chrome on this car, blacked out all the bumpers and flat, so it looks like everything is the same color, this gunmetal gray color here, but anything that would have been chrome is now matte black, or matte gunmetal gray I should say. Even underneath the car everything's all gunmetal, flat and shiny, but really really super clean. Even in the engine bay they got a modern Hemi. Appears to be a Hellcat motor. Once again, they did all flat black instead of chrome or anything. Got rid of the trim around the windshield. It looks like it's got C6 or C5 door handles on it. So if we walk around to this side, you can see they got rid of the door handles and put in that little notch out. And then the wheels got like a carbon fiber lip on them. Really kind of cool, but in my opinion I think they should have did all the chrome and black chrome. I think it would have looked a little bit better, but it still works this way. And I kind of wish they would have put some sort of trim on the side of the car, because when you look at the side of the car it's so big, it just needs something to break it up, but it still looks really good. They put swivel seats in it, so swivel front seats, once again all gunmetal black. Then they did that flat. I like how the I don't know if you can see them on camera, but those controls on the center console, they kind of light up from the back. They're backlit. That's really cool. I mean, this thing's straight as an arrow too. Looks really nice. And then we get into these taillights. So this is my favorite part of this whole car. These taillights are 3D printed and then polished. And then the light is on the inside, so I mean it's really cool. One thing though that I kind of think they're going to get nicked for, it's a really bad gap right there, and you can see the light bleed is what you would call it, coming from the back there. So that's me being a little nitpicky, but when it comes to these Ridler cars, every little nitpick like that makes a huge difference. So, but those taillights are absolutely killer. And then you look underneath the back, I mean, very nice. The exhaust is all nicely wrapped all the way through. So that is the 59 Chrysler 300, first of our grade 8 picks. So we're going to walk over to the next one. I got to try to find it. The next on our Autorama grade 8 is this 59 Corvette out of Henderson, Colorado. It's called the XSI. I have no idea what XSI. I don't even know. This thing's really cool. So the way they did this grill is awesome. They did polished on the surround, but then brushed on the inside, and that brushed finish looks so cool. So there's like a combination, like all the chrome and stainless and everything is either brushed or it's polished, and it kind of all flows together. Not really a huge fan of the engine bay with these two scoops coming out. I don't know if this thing's turboed or not. It's hard to see from here, but and then they stick up through the hood. I'm not really into that. I mean, it's kind of cool. These wheels though, the way that they stack the color and the polished and the flats. I mean, these wheels look like jewelry. Very, very nice looking wheel. They got the name of the car engraved in the wheel. Corvette brake. Carbon fiber for the cove looks really good on this color. I also really like this scoop that they did, the air intake for the brakes. I don't know if it's functional or not, but it just that little bit of accent right there. Also the door handles. Those door handles are really nice in the brushed with the polished or chrome around the outside. Looks really nice. The dash, the way they did the gauges. If you guys are familiar with the actual 59 Corvette dash, this is much different and looks a lot more modern feeling, more sports car feeling. It kind of goes with the vibe of the car. The trunk looks really nice the way they did this. I mean, can't really put anything back there. Like if you put a chair back there, you're gonna mess that up. That Corvette insignia would normally be on the trunk deck lid. Don't know if it looks like, nope, they still got one on the deck lid too. Taillights are cool. The only thing I would have probably did was made the lens go in from the back so that to get rid of these bolt heads. I mean, it would look better if that was all one solid piece. Still an absolutely beautiful car. Let's take a look up from underneath. Coilover suspension. Looks like the whole underneath of the car, underside of the car is all done in like a same color, but flat. Very cool car. Let's head over and check out the next Grade 8 car. And number 3 on our Grade 8 finalists is the 68 Cougar, the Predator, out of British Columbia, Canada. Man, this thing made a long way to get to Detroit. This thing, oh man, this one is awesome looking. We'll go over to the other side and check it out. So this thing, the way that they did the roof and everything, I mean, and the way they did this body line here, it looks a lot like a Mustang. This thing's got a lot of Mustang flair on it. That engine's all polished. I was kind of thinking that the engine should have been green, but then under closer inspection, the car has a carbon fiber stripe, so this, I think their accent color is like a gunmetal. So the engine block is painted gunmetal. Heads are polished, obviously. It's also got that gunmetal spoiler down there, and it looks like the lips on the wheels are gunmetal. Yeah, the way they did this wheel display to show off the rotors and the wheel well and everything, really cool. My favorite part of this car is the interior. The way they did the gauges, brought the gauges out rather than having them sunk in like a stock Cougar would have been. The gauges look really, really nice. Still got that wood grain feel like it would be if it were stock. The little tack on the center console, chef's kiss on that. That looks really cool. I love the seats in this car. I mean, it is a little bit plainer than some of these cars that are in the Grade 8. But sometimes less is more. This thing just kind of does everything it needs to do. The only thing that I don't like about this car is the vent window on the side, the quarter window. Kind of looks out of place on the side view of that car. I know it's kind of a Mustang thing, but I think a scoop would have looked a lot better, like, you know, one of those scoops that like a Mustang would have had or something. But that's me being real nitpicky on it. I love the color on this thing. I don't know if this is my choice for Ridler, but man, this is a contender for sure. The bodywork on this thing is flawless. That's the 68 Cougar. Let's see what's next on the Ridler Grade 8. Number 4. This is the one that everybody's been talking about the whole weekend since it came off the trailer on Wednesday. This thing is absolutely insane. It's a 53 Corvette coupe. So if you know anything about 53 Corvettes, they're not supposed to be coupes. And it's out of Pennsylvania, but it was built by the Dave Kindig shop. I mean, I could talk about this car for days, but I'm just going to kind of highlight my favorites of what the car and a couple of the things I don't like, but once again, me being extremely nitpicky. The wheels on this car, look at the wheels. It is very hard to see where the wheel ends and the hub begins. It looks like that wheel goes all the way back to the brake rotor. Now, insider information on this car when they were setting it up, I believe the guy's name is Kindig from Bitchin' Rides. He said that the rotors are actually polished stainless, they're not chrome. And then the frame on this car is actually just that center section, and it runs all the way back on the car. Those are actually the control arms bolting up to the frame in the front. The way they did the grille on this car, I mean, everything about this car is 100% handmade. I think the engine's the only thing that's not. The whole body is handmade aluminum. It's not an original 53 Corvette. How much I wish it was, but it's not. The way the bumpers are done looks really, really nice. We'll get like kind of a side profile.
Inspired by GM's Corvette.
So you can see the way they did that roof line. It's kind of like the Autorama Corvette, the way that roof line is done. So when they built the car, the roof line actually came up and they mated the windshield to the roof. So the roof and the windshield were two separate pieces. The way that the roof humps, I mean, it just, everything about this car is just absolutely insane. It has a V12 LS motor in it. Didn't even know such a thing existed, but it does. So we'll come around, check out the interior here. So there's the interior. The latch on the door. This is, once again, I'm being nitpicky. I feel like these humps that are on the dash are a little on the tall side with how short that roof is. Kind of really hits my eye wrong, but like I said, I'm being real nitpicky. I don't know if you saw in the last, like when I was around the other side, but the suspension on the rear of this car is actually a horizontal coilover setup that's mounted behind the seats on this thing, and I can't really get a good shot of it, but it's amazing. And then we'll go underneath so you can see the back of the car, the way the exhaust comes out, the tail lights. At first I wasn't too keen on the square steering wheel, but when you look at the gauges they're running in this car, it works. I mean, everything from the driver's seat would be 100% visible. And then there's the underside, the undercarriage. If I had to pick a car, I think this one might be a Ridler winner, but we'll only see. But anyway, on to the next Ridler contender. Alright, I don't do this very often, but I'm taking a quick break from the Ridler cars, and I got to talk about this Dart. This thing is so freaking cool. Like, look at that. It's got a Hemi in it. The body work on this car is amazing. I mean, the lines are so crisp on it. You can see that body line running right through that. It'd be so easy to just get rid of that. Same thing with the character line on the sail panel. It'd be so easy to just mud it, sand it, wash it right out. But these guys actually, every single body line, then they ghosted the stripe in there. That looks really cool. And even the interior with the plaid looks really awesome. It's a 68 Dart. I just had to video this and talk about it for a minute because I absolutely love this thing. This thing would be so awesome just to drive around and cruise around in. Alright, on to that next Ridler car. We're on to number 5. This is a 51 Henry J pickup out of Las Vegas, Nevada. They never made a pickup Henry J, so this is all 100% customized. There is a lot of work done to this car. Brown itself wouldn't have been my first choice, but it looks pretty cool. The interior looks really nice in this car. Don't know if I'm too keen about the flat dash. Not a lot of design work went into it. It kind of works when you look at the way that the rear glass is, because the rear glass kind of, I'm not really too big of a fan of the rear glass because it just looks like they just cut it off, but it's got that pickup truck feel, it's got that ranchero feel, and the way that they did the bed on it looks really nice. They even did like a little teeny weeny tailgate on it, which is adorable. I love the way they did the bed on this thing with a notch cover. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if they would have did an underslung frame, probably could have got rid of that notch cover, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Everything's got this HJ. They call it the Henry Jenner. I don't know what that's all about. They even got HJ in the exhaust tip, if you guys can see that. I feel like the fuel cell hangs down just a touch too low, but at least they polished it. Looks really nice. The way they did the bumpers, they fit the bumpers really, really nice. That tail lights look amazing in this thing. We'll get like a side profile view of it here. This thing's got a really cool looking little profile to it. Engine bay looks really nice. Yeah, that's the 51 Henry J pickup flavor, and the more I look at this thing, the more I kind of like it. So let's get on to our next Ridler contender. Next up in our grade 8 is the 63 Chevy Impala 2-door out of Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. I'd call this car the Candy Man because there's a lot of candy paint on this thing. So we'll kind of start off on the back here. Oh, we even caught the guy wiping it down. Look at that. One thing I really like about this car is the way they did, I don't know if I can catch it on camera. So right in here, they did like an engine turned aluminum and then candied over top of it, and it gives it like this weird 3D effect. They also did it inside the taillight area, and up in there, up in the taillight area, they did it with a blue candy. So this car is kind of like a blue to black fade, and then there's red candy accents. So they even did like all the suspension, like the rear end housing, transmission, engine block is all done in like a red candy. And then they also panel painted underneath for that lowrider kind of inspiration. I'm not really a big fan of the door handle. It's almost a little too modern for the car. So let's walk around to the front of the car. I like the way they did the brake calipers with the polished and the red. Still has a 409 in it. That engine bay is absolutely amazing. The way they did the grille with the painted and the mesh looks really, really nice. They also panel painted inside the engine bay, more lowrider feel. But if I have one point of contention with this whole car, they got rid of the back seat. They put like covers. I don't know if you can see it, but behind the back seats there's like a cover that goes to the package tray, and then covers down, fill in the voids behind the front seats. And I feel like that's a lot of wasted space. If this thing had a back seat in it, I think it would have looked a lot nicer. Let's kind of take a look at that interior. Oh, the dash in this thing is really nice. Outside of those vents on top of the dash, I think it could have done without those. I'd have probably put those down up underneath. The center console looks really nice. Dash looks really nice. And that is the 63 Impala in the grade 8. Okay, I couldn't find the show card for this one, but it's a 56 Chevy Belair. This will be number 7 on our grade 8 out of Hudsonville, Michigan. This car makes me want some ice cream because that's where the ice cream comes from. But anyway, let's take a look at this thing. Pearl white, a lot of pearl in that paint. Paint on this car is really, really nice. I mean, last year there were some questionable paint jobs, some questionable wet sand and rub jobs. I think this year almost every car in the grade 8 is nicely wet sanded and rubbed. This is no exception. It looks really, really good. Looks like it's got an LS motor in it. Got a cowl piece that kind of goes up over the radiator cap just peeping through there. This car's a lot of store-bought stuff. Doesn't look like there's a lot that's custom made on this car, but that won't disqualify you from the grade 8, but it really, really hurts your chances of getting that coveted Ridler Award. Because there are a lot of bolt-on cars, but the execution of the bolt-on stuff on this car looks really, really good. It's got the Kindig door handles. I don't know what kind of wheels those are. I want to say they're Boss wheels, but I could be wrong. They might be Billet Specialties wheels. They painted the center on them, which I feel like they should have just left it polished. In the interior, The way they did the dash, it kind of comes down really nice. They made the dash kind of come all the way down, and he's got these same vents that were in that 63 Chevy. So yeah, those are store-bought vents. They did a 5960 Chevy gauge cluster flipped upside down in the center. I don't know. I mean, it looks all right. Center console in this thing, pretty sure that's a store-bought center console, but it looks nice. It's clean. The steering wheel, they got rid of the horn ring on it. I'd have probably left the horn ring on it, but doesn't look bad. It's got Willwood brakes on it. Like I said, not a whole lot of like custom handmade touches. That dash is definitely handmade, but the execution is what really makes it. The taillights got that kind of 60s, bring that 60s flare in with the diamonds on it. There's actually a car in the Cavalcade Customs that's got them same taillights in it. And if we look underneath, chrome rear end. Like this car, if there was a award for clean, I mean clean, this thing, everything's executed very nicely. But that's the 56 Chevy. Oh, look at one more thing I noticed. They did a vent on the roof right there. Just noticed that. I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of crept up and punched me right in the face. And we got one more left in the grade 8. Let's head over to that right now. Number 8, the last one on our Ridler grade 8 journey. This is a 1967 Cadillac El Dorado out of Big Lake, Minnesota. So what's there to say about this car? Well, I'm not a huge fan of the color. That's a personal thing. The car looks really clean. They kept the flip-up headlights, which is really, really cool. The way they did the parking lights on this thing, I really, really dig that. Put them up inside the bumper, let them shine down, use that negative space to shine the light in, and that looks really, really cool. It's got an LS9 crate engine that they just slapped in there. There's no paint, no smoothing, no anything on that engine. And then let's walk around to the interior. I feel like they should have shaved those door handles. There's nothing chrome on the rest of this car, and it's got that big chrome door handle right in the center of the door. I would have just took those bad boys right off. The interior is super, super clean. The interior definitely goes with the exterior color, that nice brown. They did some burled wood grain, it looks like, on the dash. The door sills got a Fisher body logo still stamped in them. That's nice. I like the vents for the AC. Those are nice. Those are really, really cool. Door handles are actually kind of interesting. Just a little tiny, just a little pull on that door handle. Looking at the side here, it's got bare brakes on it. The wheels, I actually like the wheels on this thing that match the kind of the interior. I like that. Tail lights look really nice in this thing. Very nice trunk space. Not a whole lot of room for, you would think Cadillac have a little bit more trunk space, but real clean, real nice. I don't hate this car, but man, if it were black, if this thing were black. Like I said, that's a personal choice. But anyway, that is the grade 8. So that's the last one. So that was the grade 8 contenders for the Ridler Award. In order to get that Ridler Award, this is the first time the car could ever be shown to the public, ever. Facebook, online, at a show, anywhere. This is the only place that this car has been shown to the public as of right now, is this show. So those 8 cars, never been seen before. Which one do I think is going to get the Ridler? I think for sure it's going to be the Dave Kindig car, this 53 Corvette. That's my pick. I'm pretty sure it's going to get it. There's a couple of slight contenders, but I almost think it's no contest. So will I be proven right? We get to find out in a few hours here, and then we're going to be heading home. So when they announce that Ridler, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But that's the Ridler cars. That's the grade 8. And there it is, guys. We kind of knew it was going to happen. Kind of called it. But totally well deserved. 2024 Ridler winner, the badass 53 Corvette, all hand built by Dave Kindig in his shop. Cool stuff.